Welcome to Capitol Hill Mixtape, presented by RIAA. I'm your host, Tom Cleese. Welcome to Capitol Hill Mixtape. I'm your host, Tom Cleese, and it's my pleasure today to introduce you to a congressman from Texas named Marc Veasey. He's a fantastic member. He gets to work on issues, everything from energy to telecommunications to our national security. So he's a man of many talents, and I'm really happy we get to have him with us today. Congressman, thank you so much for being with us.
Hey, good to be with you all today.
So, Congressman, could you tell us a little bit about what drove you to enter public service? And at the time that you were entering public service, what were you listening to?
Yeah, no, absolutely. What led me to get into public service was that I had an uncle that worked for the majority leader and the Speaker of the House. I'm from Fort Worth, Texas. And at the time, Jim Wright was the representative from the 12th Congressional District in Texas. And my uncle had been a television reporter, news anchor at a small West Texas market. And he moved to Fort Worth and he started working for Jim Wright, who was the majority leader at the time. And he became speaker. My uncle worked for him for a little while he was speaker. And that's really what kind of got me into it. We didn't have that many college graduates in our family. My uncle was one of the only college graduates, and he sort of, laid out a plan for me when I was in 8th grade, or just not a plan, but more or less just an idea on, how I could, get involved with politics and be able to work, for a congressman or a senator or a mayor and, or whatever it may happen to be, and gave me like a great idea and a great plan. And that's really what sort of got me into it. And then I worked for a member of Congress myself. And then in 2004, I ran for the state legislature. And so I don't remember what songs came out, like what may have been out in 2004 when I made that decision to run for office. But I'm like one of those people that listen to a little bit of everything. Like I listen to rap, I listen to country, I listen to R&B, I listen to rock. I don't know. Maybe I was listening to something from the Foo Fighters at the time that made me kind of get hyped up to run back in 2004. But I can't pinpoint a specific song.
I guess if you had to go back and rewrite history a little bit, what would you like your campaign theme song to be?
If I could go back and rewrite history, I would say that I would probably pick, because I liked it when I was a kid. It was kind of inspirational to me growing up. We used to watch a lot of the boxing matches, a lot of the fights. And Larry Holmes was my dad's favorite boxer. And he used to always come out to Ain't No Stopping Us Now. And so I would probably let that be my theme song. Had I had like music and a big campaign back in 2004, that definitely would have been my song, because that was always kind of a big deal, and it would make everybody in the house that would come over for the fight parties like really hyped up.
Well, I hope you get a chance to use that on your next campaign, sir. A question a little off topic. You mentioned that you were a staffer. Of course, there's a lot of staffers out there who think they can do the boss's job. What do you think, having experience as a staffer, that you brought to the job, that maybe you wouldn't have if you hadn't done that before?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing, when I went in 2004 as a state legislature, before I was elected to Congress in 2012, being a staffer was really important to me, because first of all, it kind of opened my eyes to that the job of an elected official isn't about people, telling you how great you are and opening doors for you. It's like about hard work for the community and the constituency that you serve. That was a great lesson for me to learn. It's hard for people that have never held office to understand that. Not all people. There are some people that have never held office or have never worked in this universe that come in fresh and they do a great job. They're hardworking, but there are some people that come in and they really do believe that it's more about, some of the, other things that happen, whether it's dinners or against people, inviting you to come speak to their office or their organization, and you thinking that it's more about, some of those, things like that you may think are more glamorous. And it's really not. I mean, I think being a staffer really sort of laid a great foundation in me understanding that, hey, I'm here to serve the constituents and serve the people that have elected me. And that's really the most important thing, not me being important.
That's really fantastic to know. So once you have gotten yourself elected, you have this experience, you're in this world, you happen to be in Congress in one of the craziest times in American politics. Is there a song that has helped you either pump up for the really big moments on the floor or maybe calm down after you've been in some of these crazy fights? Just something that has meant a lot to you as you were doing this job?
Yeah, no, absolutely. When we were in the minority, the song that would pop into my head oftentimes, and again, I've listened to like such a large genre of music, but the one song that will pop into my head a lot when we were in the minority, interesting enough, was "You Got to Fight the Powers That Be" by the Isley Brothers. Like I would like listen to that song a lot to get really pumped up before I would like come into the Capitol, just knowing that it was going to be a really tough day. When you're in the minority, people don't realize how difficult it is, how grueling it is. You're really always responding instead of being proactive. You're oftentimes responding to what the people that hold the gavel are deciding what the day is going to be like. And so that's a completely different process. And so you need something, like Fight the Power That Be, to really get you, hyped up, to be quite honest. In the majority, so that we've been in now for the last 2 terms, it could be a lot of, different, things, a lot of different songs that really get me pumped up and get me going. When you're in the minority, it's such a different feeling than being in the majority. And so, your songs and how you're seeing the day is completely different. I think a lot about Anthony Kiedis with Red Hot Chili Peppers. I was listening to him give an interview once, and he was talking about how when he first started, when Red Hot Chili Peppers first started, how based on his age, his creativity style is like completely different. Because you're young, you have all these juices flowing, and your how you view the world and how you write music is like completely different than how you write it as, someone, that is over 40 years old. And that really is the same thing with the majority versus the minority. How you start your day, how you get pumped up, what type of music gets you going is completely different than if you're in the majority. Unlike, let's say, for instance, that you're going into the weight room, right? Like if I'm going into the weight room, I may may put on something that gets me pumped up, Machine Head, and I may just be pumping iron to that, just really getting it going, but so that doesn't change. You're going in to work out. There's nothing different about that day. But here you have to have a completely different mindset, a completely different mentality when you're in the minority versus being in the majority.
No one's ever really told us about what they listen to in the house weight room. So that actually is a first for us. And I'm glad that you gave a shout out. As the resident RIAA metalhead, I'm glad you gave a shout out to Machine Head. This is such a fantastic learning opportunity for us because we really do get to see a whole different side of members of Congress, and we get to learn about all the different music they listen to. It's great to see that members may not necessarily listen to what you expect them to, or may not have completely all of their tastes in one particular place. So we really appreciate you taking this time with us. The last question I want to ask you is sort of taking music to one side, taking maybe even the news of the day to one side, or the things that we're talking about. Is there one thing that you're working on right now in your office that you want people to know a little bit more about?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And it kind of, is directly related to music, and that's broadband. We got a broadband bill passed to get people money in their pockets, low-income families, money in their pockets to be able to help pay their broadband so their kids can do their homework and do small businesses. But as you know, in your industry, being able to stream music and listen to it on your device, on your laptop, whatever it may happen to be, is like really big. And music is a big part of, again, of people's creativity, like we just talked about a little bit earlier. And so for these young people to be able to, listen to a little bit of music while they're doing their homework, and maybe, spur creativity in some other areas, and them being able to have broadband inside their house, is something that we're proud we got that legislation passed, and we're going to continue to work on. We want people in rural America to have the best internet service, people in low income areas to have access to those same sorts of services, because that's truly what's allowing us to have the advancements in society that we're experiencing today, and the economic growth and opportunities that should be available for all communities.
Congressman Marc Veasey, thank you so much for the work that you're doing on Capitol Hill, and thank you so much for spending time with us. This is Capitol Hill Mixtape from RIAA. I'm Tom Cleese, and I can't wait to see you again.